How's it going? Welcome back, my beautiful sinners, to another great video with your boy, the Savior. If you're new to the channel, which is quite likely, go down below and subscribe, join this amazing community, and become a disciple of the Savior channel today. Now boys, I've been wanting to make this video for a very long time because I was very surprised that my Fallout 3 video, in which I did a Fallout 3 modded guide and a Fallout 3 modded showcase last year, did pretty good, and it got like 20,000 views, which was very surprising because that was a type of video I just wanted to make for myself. I didn't expect, people to actually care about it. I just wanted to make it myself because I love Fallout 3. It's my all-time favorite video game. And I guess people were interested because I've poured a lot of love into this game. I've also made a retrospective review of Fallout 3, which you can go and check out, which also people seem to be interested in. So I'm just happy that other people exist who love Fallout 3 as much as I do. This is next gen Fallout 3 in 2022 and Fallout 3 modded in 2022. Basically, what you should download, I'm going to go through it all and just discuss my mods and what I've done to the game. And yeah, let's just have a good time, sit back, relax, grab yourself a snack. And yeah, this is just going to be like a chill video. What the hell was that? Someone in there. And if you do enjoy it, I hope you do subscribe. Now, a few people were mad in my previous video. Most people enjoyed it, but a few people didn't like the fact that I said I was going to link the mods in the description, and I didn't. Like I said, I made that video not expecting anyone to see it because my channel back then was pretty small. It has now grown quite a bit, which I'm happy about, and we are now, a great community, which I appreciate. So like I said, if you do enjoy this, subscribe. Yeah, this isn't going to be a modded guide, okay, so I have to make that clear. This is more of a Fallout 3 modded showcase in 2022, and I'm just going to suggest what mods you should download in 2022 for Fallout 3, and how to make Fallout 3 next gen in 2022, and yeah, just give you my modded guide. So I hope you enjoy it, and without further ado, let's get on with the video. So if you want to play Fallout 3 in 2022, the first thing that I would recommend doing is, if you have a PC, and my PC is pretty old now, it can only run old games, but first thing you need to do is basically bump up your FOV. So you can just go into the console commands and just type in FOV, and I like to do 90 because that's like the natural human eye, I think. And this will just make the game look a lot nicer. As you can see now, everything looks a lot more expanded, and it just gives you like more immersion, in my opinion. You don't feel that boxed in. It's not so much that you feel like you're a goddamn reptilian or a goddamn lizard, and you've got eyes popping out at the side of your head. You can see just like you would in normal reality, but it just makes it a lot more nicer to look at, in my opinion. If you go past 100, you will start to see things like a goddamn fish would, so I wouldn't recommend it. But anyway, so the next thing that I'll just quickly demonstrate is obviously the textures. As you can see, they're obviously a lot nicer than in the base game. You can see here on the Vault Door 101. So I went for the high texture pack, the biggest texture pack that you can get on the Fallout 3 modded page. Will you shut up? There's obviously someone eager to get at me back there. I wouldn't recommend that you go for the Ultra one because, unless if you've got a beast of a machine, Fallout 3 is a buggy ass game because it's made by Bethesda. Even now I get a lot of crashes with this game, even though I've patched it. I've done unofficial patches, I've done workarounds. That's why I don't want to get into it, because it's a long process. There are other guides out there on YouTube if that's what you want to see. This video is for when you've actually managed to make it work and you are modding it, and what mods you should get. So like I said, go for the high texture pack, don't go for the ultra, because not only does it make your game really janky and you will lose a lot of FPS, I like to keep it at a steady 60, but also, like I said, it will crash a lot, and if you have super high textures, it just looks so unnatural because not everything is added with a new high texture, because that would take ages. So some things just stand out way more, and it just looks like unnatural in such an old game. You need something with a bit more balance, in my opinion. So this texture pack is, enough detail, in my opinion. Also, I recommend that you get the extended weapon pack. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but, these are the most popular mods, but I've just combined a lot of them to make this, the best next-gen experience of Fallout 3, because it deserves this beautiful remaster, because Fallout 3, like I said, is the best game of all time, in my opinion. Bethesda have fallen down a lot in recent history, and I don't like them as much as I used to, and I think a lot of people feel that way. But, and the same thing with the Fallout franchise. It's a joke now. Fallout 76, Fallout 4 as well wasn't that good, in my opinion. New Vegas is great if you, just want for choice and consequences. Although I do feel you get plenty of that in Fallout 3. People don't give it enough credit. There is a lot of choices in this. In Fallout 3, you do get a lot of role-playing options, just as much, in my opinion. Obviously, in Fallout New Vegas, you get a lot more, and that's why everyone says, oh, Fallout New Vegas is the best Fallout game. But, we don't need to have, war in the fan base. It's just pathetic. It's just tribal mentality. Why can't you enjoy both games? They're both great games. But you can't dispute the fact that Fallout 3 basically is just incredible because of its atmosphere, because of its world space. It's just got so much more detail, in my opinion, than the boring desert in Fallout New Vegas, and that's just my opinion. Take it or leave it, but I love Fallout 3 so much. Anyway, so get this weapon pack. Get this weapon pack because it adds a lot more guns to the game. For example, the Desert Eagle here. Who doesn't want a deagle in Fallout 3? I don't know. I will say this, which is very annoying, when I play with headphones, because I do play this game a lot. It's my main game, because even though I've played it like 1,000 times. Anyway, some of the weapons here are a little bit too loud. Like, the audio files are just kind of messed up. I don't know how to fix it, because if you just change the audio in-game, it won't fix it, because that's for the whole game. Some of the sound effects for these guns are just so incredibly loud, and especially if you're wearing headphones, it will deafen you, so just be careful. Here's an example. As you can see, that's much louder than like a classic Fallout 3 gun, like the hunting rifle. And also, by the way, if you turn up the FOV, you can just see the animation a lot more clear. When you have it on low FOV, you can't even see the guy pull back the bolt of this hunting rifle. So it just adds a lot more, like, immersion to it, in my opinion. This is a great gun, the M60. This is something that you'll get if you, get that weapon pack. That's great. What else do we have? We have this one. Like I said, it's kind of like a Metro 2033 gun, but like I said, some of them are just incredibly loud. This one being really loud. Another mod I would recommend is that you get the EVE, which basically adds effects with laser weapons and plasma weapons and all that kind of stuff. Basically, when you hit an enemy, you have a chance of them exploding, a lot of cool particle effects, and like I said, when you shoot with your laser gun or laser rifle, you will see effects like smoke rising and just a lot more detail, which I think is pretty cool. I remember I used to be, like super into modding. I just can't be bothered anymore. Or PC gaming, it's just so finicky. I used to do it a lot with Fallout before and Fallout New Vegas and Skyrim. Basically, Bethesda games, they're only good because you can mod them, let's be honest. But it just takes up so much time, but I just couldn't help do it again for Fallout 3 in 2022 because, like I said, this game is just the best game ever. You have to try it if you've never tried it. Now, I will say this, if you are trying to mod Fallout 3 in 2022, it's going to be a lot more difficult because the assholes at Bethesda, being the scumbags that they are, they now updated this game, and if you have the new update installed, it means it's going to be a lot more difficult to mod it, and I have no idea how you get, I have no idea how you mod it now with that update installed. I found out about it before the update affected me, so I managed to stop it. So, my game is separate. Also, don't go through Nexus mods, go through the original Fallout 3 mod manager, because you're going to have it a lot more safer that way, and you can basically bypass Steam. The next thing I want to show you is the enhanced weathers. So at nighttime, I was always disappointed in Fallout 3 that, like most games actually, when it's nighttime, it's never actually dark, and you can still see pretty much everything. But now with the weather pack installed, it's completely pitch black, which is incredible. Also, the skybox is completely redone. It just is so much more beautiful, HD, and just wonderful. The moon texture, the sun texture, it just looks amazing, and it's dynamic, so this will change depending, on the time of day or the time of night, which is super cool. So it's not just a static image, it will change, and it looks absolutely beautiful. The different types of moons you can get. Like I said, you can see the enhanced textures at work here with the floor and stuff like that. And yeah, it's completely pitch black. And to make this even more terrifying, because I like it to feel super, tense, I pretty much tried to make Fallout 3 as close to Stalker as possible, because I just love the tense atmosphere of Fallout 3 already, with its music, its ambience, everything about it. And it just, it adds a lot to make it even more difficult and brutal and terrifying. So I recommend that you download this mod. It's called Mart's Mutant Mod Pack, and basically it will give you so many more horrible creatures in the capital Wasteland, and it's pretty vicious. You can, customize it to make it basically even more difficult. You can increase the spawns. You can basically add how many you want to come after you at certain times. You can really go into this and customize it. I don't want to fiddle with it because I've already done it. One thing that I love about this mod is it adds a lot of new enemies to the game, like I said, which is just great. It's not great, trust me, it's super, just terrifying. But, if you're tired of the same old enemies, then this is great. It adds, these deformed mutants that look absolutely badass, and it fits the lore perfectly. And it also adds night ghouls, and they glow in the dark, so you'll see them coming, but, they usually swarm in packs, which is terrifying. If you hear radiation, that's because with this weather pack that I installed, I can't remember what it's called, but basically it adds radiation and weather changes to the game. So as you can see now, it's raining. It just did that dynamically. Obviously, it's a bit janky when it just transitions, but, when it does, it's beautiful. Now it's cloudy, you can't see the sky anymore. Who doesn't want to simulate what it's like to live in an apocalypse when in reality we are probably heading that way, because because no doubt Russia or China or whoever is going to drop a bomb one of these days. But there's just something so special about Fallout 3. I would say in some ways it relaxes me, because even though it's so tense and terrifying and horrible, the stuff that happens in the Wasteland and the people, I just find something so therapeutic about it, which is kind of weird. Just the battle for survival, all of these characters that you meet, they all have such detail, the world has such detail, the ambience, the music, the weapons, the history, the lore, everything about it is just incredible. This is Bethesda's finest work in my opinion, and the best Fallout game in my opinion. But I don't need to gush about it. You can go watch the retrospective review. As you can see here, I have a lot more not so family friendly items, like this one, and this one, and this one, which you might think, why? Well, that's because I also added a mod, and this is probably the best mod of all, and I'm pretty sure this is the same mod. It could be something different, I have no idea. I have a lot of mods installed, but either way, you need to download this mod, because this is the pinnacle of all mods, okay? And this is the best thing ever. Fallout Wasteland Edition. I'm pretty sure it's called, I have no idea, but it's FWE. You can definitely find it on the Nexus mods. But basically this changes the game completely, because you can go into all of these individual settings and change how difficult, how immersive you want it, how NPCs react, and all of this kind of stuff. You can customize the loot, you can customize the damage, and how much your character will take damage, or how much he will inflict damage, how much you will be affected by radiation. You can make it even more brutal and difficult by going into all of these settings and customizing it, like, for AP calculations. Like I said, you can choose which ones. You can go for the vanilla option or the harsher difficulty or the one that they recommend. Um, it's pretty crazy just how much customization you can do. You can do radiation. Like I said, mine at the moment is on moderate rads because, trust me, that's enough for this one because radiation creeps up on you pretty quick, unlike in vanilla where it's just super slow. Falling damage, weapon damage, which I've set to a lot higher. So basically you can customize it to exactly how you want it. Which is great because you can basically make this, like I said, into Stalker if you want, or you can make it into an action FPS Call of Duty game if you want to play Fallout like that. I don't know why you would, but hey, that's up to you. If you want to basically feel OP, you can do that, or if you want to struggle and survive. Also, you can control how much ammo drops and stuff like that. So for me, I'm pretty limited on ammo for most of my guns, even though I'm playing a long time. I do have some guns with a lot of ammo, but a lot of them don't, because at a certain point you will feel OP, and then the game will just become not that fun. But with this, you have to constantly think about, where you're going to get these items. Caps won't be easy to get, and ammo won't be easy to get, medicine won't be easy to get, and going out into the wasteland will feel like a real danger because of all these new enemies that I added, and the higher damage, the higher radiation, everything about it. So it just adds a lot, in my opinion. Another mod I would recommend getting if you want, a more focused survival experience is your primary needs. And basically this means you have to sleep, you have to drink, and you have to eat. Pretty much hardcore mode for Fallout New Vegas, but it's for Fallout 3. So yeah, those are the essential mods. Like I said, I would highly recommend it. I'm going to go into detail as well. Jesus Christ. That just shows you. Radiation, you can't piss about with my Fallout 3. Okay. Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend that. You gotta eat healthy. You gotta drink that water. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, so here's the next day. As you can see, still beautiful. The skybox is so beautiful. Now the sun is coming up, and you can see the clouds. It just adds a lot more beauty to the game. Even though it is a disgusting apocalypse wasteland that you're living in, you might as well make it look pretty beautiful. And Fallout 3 does have a certain beauty to it in the new reborn world that you're exploring. Now, a lot of people like to customize Fallout or Bethesda games and make it all shiny and graphical to the point where it looks like nothing like the original. I don't like that, so that's why, like I said, I recommend you get that texture pack. And a big thing, which is very controversial, I would recommend that you don't get an ENB, because an ENB, if you don't know what that is, it basically adds a lighting system, a more pretty lighting system, and dynamic shadows and all that kind of stuff, and it just completely changes the look of the game. It doesn't add to the texture, but it just adds to the overall feel and atmosphere of the game, like lens flares and all that kind of stuff. But if you download an ENB, you will definitely notice it, because every object in the game will flicker constantly. Most things in the game world will completely look weird. Most things will look completely off, in my opinion, because it's not used to that kind of shadow technology, and it basically leaves this weird border around your game because the dynamic shadows just aren't supposed to work with this kind of older game, and it just looks off. You can make Skyrim look absolutely beautiful, but with Fallout 3, I wouldn't recommend it. Now, I understand why people like ENBs, but like I said, I just don't feel like it fits with this game, and it just makes it look worse, in my opinion. You can watch, lots of Fallout 3 YouTubers, like Oxhorn, I think he's called, and his ENB is completely off the charts, and yeah, it does make it look pretty, but it just makes it look completely unnatural, in my opinion. And like I said, you get this weird flicker with the game world, which just looks bad, in my opinion. The other mod I would suggest that you get is this thing called the Flora Overhaul, which just adds more, life into the wasteland. Not so much that it feels, completely unauthentic, but just enough that it adds more dead trees. It adds some trees with some, branches and leaves, which is pretty realistic because after a certain point in time, even with radiation, things do grow back. Just look at Chernobyl. But yeah, I would recommend that you get that. You can choose different options like, having the wasteland become a complete forest and super grassy, or you can have it like this, which is called the Dead Edition, which I would recommend. Trying to record this and being very careful to make sure that the game doesn't crash is pretty difficult because obviously my recording software is taking a lot of its CPU and energy or whatever. I have no idea how stuff works. Anyway, as you can see here, things are just far more nicer. As you can see here, things are more textured. It just looks nice. This is the first area that you come through, and there's just a lot more detail. It's not overly detailed. It's just perfect in my opinion. We have the new weather system. Also get this mod called Fallout, I think it's called, where basically it removes the green tinge from the game, which some people don't like, and I can understand why. Ooh, and yeah, the big one. You need to get the mod Streetlights, I think it's called, and basically it adds working streetlights in the game. So, some little villages and towns that you come across, you can kind of see it in the background over there. You will actually have working streetlights, and when the night is super black, pitch black, it just adds a lot more immersion to the game. Even the interior, you can see, things just look a lot nicer. The lighting looks a lot better. So how did I do this without using an ENB, you might be wondering. So this is what I recommend that you do. You need to download this thing called Reshade. Okay, now with Reshade, you can basically tweak the graphics and all that kind of stuff in the game. You have so many different effects, so you can add, more vibrance, more saturation. You can have this thing called fake HDR, which basically just makes the game look a lot more nicer, just more rich with detail. You can add more smoothing effects like FXAA or SMAA, which just adds a lot more, it just makes the game look a lot more nicer. You can have all of these different effects, and basically I would recommend that because you can customize it a lot more. There won't be any conflicts or anything like that, and it will look just a lot more smoother and much more truer to the original Fallout, but it will give it the next gen update in 2022. Which I think is what we want. Ooh, look at that rug! So yeah, that's pretty much Fallout 3 in 2022, Fallout 3 modded in 2022, next gen Fallout 3 in 2022. I'm sorry if that sounds very annoying, but you've got to make sure YouTube actually understands what this video is about, otherwise they will shadow ban. So even with Reshade, you do get some lens flare and stuff like that. You can get depth of field, you can customize it a lot like I said, and I would recommend it. So, here's a good example of streetlights in effect. You can see this Springfield elementary sign is kind of flickering, which is cool. And at nighttime, I can't show you now because I'm getting irradiated, but these lights look absolutely incredible at nighttime. It just adds a lot more immersion and detail to the world. Like I said, download the extra Mutant pack, make things a lot more difficult. I would recommend because it just adds to the world space of Fallout 3. As you can see, here's a new creature in the game, iguana. They just roam about, kind of like mole rats. Oh yeah, and of course, enhanced textures, which I can't really show you, of gore and stuff like that, which is not family friendly for YouTube. But yeah, here you can see the moon again, but it's completely different. Like I said, it changes, which is super nice. It's not super pitch black yet, but you can see the street lights in action. But yeah, that's Fallout 3 modded in 2022. That's how to make Fallout 3 look next gen in 2022. And that's my modded showcase of Fallout 3. And I hope you enjoyed this video. let me know if you did. Subscribe if you're new and hit the like button. And if you want me to do a modded playthrough of Fallout 3, I would be more than happy to do that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments, because like I said, Fallout 3 is a gem of a game. You know, there's no other game out there with that kind of special atmosphere. Go watch my retrospective review of it. I go into detail as to why it's such a special game. But it is just incredible in my opinion. It just has a special vibe to it, and you know, it basically just reminds you of the kind of lost potential of humanity, and that's a very special feeling in my opinion. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace out.